So now let's look at an example where we have to calculate overtime for a piece rate example. So this means that an employee gets paid for each object that they make. So for our example, we have Anne, and Anne works 45 hours in a work week and is paid $1.50 for each device that she makes. And she made 270 devices in 40 hours and 30 devices in 5 hours. So what is Anne's gross pay? So using method A, we know that she made 270 devices within 40 hours for her regular pay, and her regular rate of pay is 150. And so her regular compensation for these devices is 270 times $1.50. So her regular compensation is $405. So now we have to figure out her overtime rate. So the number of devices she made during her overtime, or her 5 hours of overtime, is she made 30 devices. And her regular rate of pay, that already pre-populated here. So because we already figured this out here. So, and the overtime multiplier, which is 1.5. So her overtime rate would be her regular rate of pay multiplied by 1.5. So she gets overtime for any device made after 40 hours of work. So her overtime compensation is her overtime rate multiplied by the number of devices she made during this time period, and that's $67.50. So now to calculate gross pay, we already have these numbers since we already figured out her regular compensation and her overtime compensation. So all we need to do here is to figure out her gross pay. So we add her regular compensation plus her overtime compensation, and this equals a total gross pay of $472.50. Now to use method A, a few things need to be met. So here are the 5 conditions that the employers must meet in order to be compliant with regulations. So number 1, there must be an agreement made in advance with the employee that this method will be used. Number 2, the piece rate must be the rate actually paid for the work when performed during non-overtime hours. Number 3, the employee's regular hourly earnings must meet FLSA minimum wage rate. Number 4, overtime pay must be at least 1.5 times the minimum wage. And number 5, overtime compensation must be paid on all other kinds of pay in accordance with FLSA regulations, including bonuses.